everybody, what's up? We are back looking at the portfolio today. We have a couple changes over the past week or so that I'm going to be getting into, a couple of stocks moving around. But big thing is that the market had a pretty sizable rebound coming off the lows that we were seeing over the past few weeks, just with like market uncertainty and stuff. Uh, Let me see the actual numbers here. So market was up about 3% last week, which is pretty good. I think I was up probably 6 or 7% if I had to guess. But anyway, we're going to check out what the transactions were, talk about where the portfolio is heading, and I think that's about it. So if you're interested, make sure to subscribe. Yeah. So looking at the overall portfolio, I think we're roughly in the same place where my last review was in terms of returns. Year to date, we're up 14%, a little bit over. I did include a section with realized profit and loss because I realized if we look in my actual portfolio, the profit and loss here isn't that huge, just with the current companies that we have. Or I guess I don't even have a profit or loss. But if you did the math here, and you just found it, it would come up to $1,000, which if you're looking at that and you're looking at those returns, that's really not that great for the size of my portfolio. That's like 3 or 4%, based on the current stocks I hold. But a lot of my high returning positions I've already closed out of and sold. So what I decided to do was create a list per quarter, just because month to month I really don't change too much, but quarterly I would say there are a significant amount of changes that happen um, with the portfolio. So I figured I would just do it like that, and then have the year total here as well. I'm probably going to format this at some point to make it look a little bit nicer like I have over here. I'm also going to add a market returns section just to see how I'm performing versus the stock market over the years. Probably just the S&P, just because. Anyway, one thing to note is that one of my ETFs is now actually positive, which is this is the Momentum ETF from Vanguard. Basically, it's just stocks that are, when they have a lot of growth recently, they buy those and they follow the momentum, basically. But let's go into the actual changes now that I've made. So I'm just getting my phone out here because Vanguard texts me with every transaction I do. So it honestly helps a lot with remembering what I did. So for the week, First Solar, we added about 3 more shares here. They are now, let's see if we can sort that. So First Solar is now my fourth largest company. Added 3 more shares there. Supermicro added 10 more shares. They are the second largest now. And then Snapchat, we added 40 more shares wherever they are. Here we go. And they are also in the top. Let me see. They are eighth now. So not too bad. Next on Friday, which was about 2 days ago, sold off SoFi. This is completely sold off. I could actually remove that. I was up on Friday about 40% on them. And it got to the point where I was like, they're up so much that I can't justify putting more in, because at that point I'm just increasing my average price so much to the point where it's like, is it going to be worth the potential risk of it dropping back down to that price? Not really. And when you're up 40% in just like 2 or 3 weeks, you kind of have to take that profit. That's a no-brainer. So anyway, let's get rid of that. And then let's see what else. I sold off a small amount of a firm. I had 25 shares, or I should say I had 20 shares. Now I'm at 15. And I sold 5 shares of Celsius as well. So I'm at 25 for them. This isn't perfectly updated. I have to update the cost basis and some other things. But that's basically what I did for the week. Now, for SoFi, I sold it because it went up so quickly that I felt I would be stupid not to. It's kind of like when Hims, which used to be in the portfolio, was up like 250% in the matter of 2 months. And I only sold half of it. And then recently, just like last week, I got rid of the rest of my shares for like a 40% gain instead of a over 200% gain. So still profiting, which is good, but it's just a matter of when you have a really solid opportunity like that, take advantage of it. Profit is profit. That's kind of the very basic saying I like to say. And also, when you're beating the market, if we look, which of course I don't have it up, but if we go over to not my Canva page and we look at the market return over the year, and we go to the 31st of December where it closed at 586.08. Let's just do this now. So 586.08, and the current price is at 566.76. And actually what we can just do is do Google Finance and then that, and just type in SPY right there, and that gives the price. Now, I believe what we can do is do that minus that divided by that, and it should give the value of, oh, I had that backwards. 10, 11, negative 3.3% year to date. So if you look compared to my returns, which of course have to be updated now. So let's do that now. I am beating the market very significantly. And I will prove it in a moment once I update the money market amount here, which should bring my returns to just about in line with what they actually are. And it definitely will not do that. 1682.95. Okay, now we have less. So you may be wondering, where did the money go? And my answer to that is I did not update the amounts on everything else. So we're going to cut and I'll be right back. Okay, so updated everything. So First Solar, again, 13 shares. Everything should be up to date here. So now if we look at the actual unrealized, I believe it is still just about, yeah, right around 1,000. So anyway, now looking at the portfolio data, we are up a little over 15% for the year. If we look at the outperformance of the portfolio, we will see that I am beating it by 18.4%, beating the market by that much, which is awesome. I'm going to figure out how to format this to make it look nice. So when I make these videos, it actually is presentable. But anyway, just showing what I'm going to be doing. In terms of what I'm looking for the next week or so of the market, again, just getting it up on my phone. Honestly think the market will be up. I don't know how much activity I'm going to be doing. What I'm really looking for is selling off my top performing stocks. So for that, I mean Celsius and Affirm. I did update the numbers here. Affirm, I'm actually up almost 50% on, which is pretty huge. I did take a good amount of profit again last week, which I believe was a little bit higher. So that probably was at just about 50%. Other than that, Google, we are up 10% on, which is pretty cool. Robinhood, we're back at 100 or almost there. I think it touched a little over 100% for like a few hours on Friday. But other than that, we're really just waiting for Supermicro, Trade Desk, PayPal, and Snapchat to get moving. All of these I do very, very heavily believe in. They're all really, really solid companies. Supermicro, if you could see, is at a very, very low point in their valuation at the moment, at least based on where they used to be. And where they used to be, their sales were a lot lower. They had a lot less important things going on. I shouldn't say a lot less, but rather it wasn't as realized. And I think they've definitely added a lot of value in that time. Next, let's look at, I believe I'm up on First Solar. So you know what? I won't look at them just yet. Snapchat is, in my opinion, one of the most undervalued, well-known, let's go with well-known tech and software companies. I think people are worried that their model isn't as monetizable as they were originally expecting a couple years ago when they were blowing up so much as they were. However, I feel like they're making steps to change that now, and I think that will translate to them being a much bigger company in the future. If we look which I do want to check them out really quickly. Okay, fully diluted market cap at the moment is at $15 billion. If we look at their industry metrics, which I honestly don't even know if they're still here because FactSet updated themselves and it is pretty confusing to look at now. Industry metrics, maybe anywhere. Possibly. Probably not. I'm not seeing it. But basically, if you look at their industry metrics, their daily active users has been improving. All of this, like metrics, all of their metrics for their business, in my opinion, has been improving considerably over the past couple quarters. And I just think they're going to be doing fantastic. PayPal. I honestly haven't properly reviewed PayPal in a couple months, but just where they're, I shouldn't say that. I look at them all the time. I haven't done a full in-depth review of the financials and everything in a couple months. I started buying them back in October, right around here. I was up for a while, took a hit. I bought a lot of shares below $70, and then I bought a lot more below 60. So my position is, despite me starting to buy right around $80 a share, if we look, I am only down about 6%. When I really should be down like 20 or 30%. So averaging down has really helped with PayPal, just only being down 6%. That's not too bad. But I still think that this company, if you look at their revenue and their financials and their performance since 2021, back when they had that all-time high in their stock price, everything is so much higher. Their take rates are a lot higher. They're making a lot more money. Their margins have improved. Um, and I could absolutely see them heading back up to that point. So that's kind of the justification for that. Um, Other than that, I've talked about Red Cat way too much recently. I'm not going to talk about them again, but they are doing well. So that's all that really matters. Um, I think that's all I really wanted to go into. I don't really have anything else to update on. Again, trying my best to make videos as consistently as I can. I'm very close to graduating. So there's been a ton of work with that on top of I just got hired, getting ready for my job and everything. YouTube has kind of taken a step back. If you would like to see more videos and more consistent videos, please subscribe, share my channel, tell people what I do. I guess I think I do an okay job at giving people information that otherwise would be a little bit difficult to get. Um, but anyway, that's all I got for today. Thank you so much for over 600 subscribers recently. I don't know if I ever addressed that in a video, but we are over 600. Um, the shorts game has been doing fairly well also, which is pretty cool. That's kind of just something I do for fun. When I'm driving, it kind of distracts. I don't want. Ooh, that's that's not the right. Gives me some like motivation to do a little bit of critical thinking while I'm driving, and makes me do a little bit of research. Like right when I get up in the morning, let's see what a couple stocks are doing, and then make a couple short videos about it. Um, does not distract me, I swear. But anyway, I think that's all I have. 635 right now, which is great. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we can get to 1,000 within a few months. I would like to, um, mostly because of the monetizable part, but also just because that's a huge achievement. I've been doing videos for probably 2 or 3 years now, on and off. I deleted a lot of the early ones, but um, so just being at this point is really awesome. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. See you next time.